outraged that this has happened. It sows a sense of terror in the community. It's bad enough that it happened at this location, but the way this goes...
Okay, this is getting rather interesting. The mayor of Los Angeles is blaming all of the protests that occurred in her city due to Homeland Security and their deportation operations. Okay, so what we're going to do is look into the mayor's response, and we have a bunch of update videos as far as all of the protests and riots that occurred in Los Angeles. Now, before we start, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well. It's a massive help. Let us begin.
Outraged that this has happened. Of course, what happened here, I think, was probably the worst. There were a number of locations where ICE raided today. And, you know, to me, when these things happen, it sows a sense of terror in the community. It's bad enough that it happened at this location, but the way this goes and spreads throughout the community, then people are not sure where they're safe.
Okay, so Homeland Security is obviously not happy with that response from the mayor. In fact, they said the violent targeting of law enforcement in Los Angeles by lawless protesters is despicable. Mayor Bass, ICE is not responsible for sowing sense of terror. The protesters you enabled are. Now remember, according to the mayor, deportation raids plant seeds of terror. But when all of these raids were occurring, the mayor of LA had this to say.
Let me just tell you that when these things happen, we have no knowledge that they are going to happen. The federal government does not contact the mayor's office. The federal government does not contact Los Angeles Police Department. They just come in under siege.
So the mayor was very quick to let everybody know, I have nothing to do with this, and she's very upset. We will not stand for this. However, Kash Patel, as I was making this video, FBI director, said, we will.
No, ICLA! You got something to say? What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? What are you pointing at? What'd you say? You said something earlier. What do you say?
You see, the FBI has no choice but to be involved with Homeland Security and these deportation raids because local police, they're not allowed to and they won't. So because of this, now we have protesters assaulting not only Homeland Security, but also FBI agents.
Rounding up hard-working families when there are white supremacists.
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to my channel. We dig into events like this every single day in detail, and we make sure elected officials are held accountable. That's right. So now we have protesters trying to blind and disrupt federal operations. And if you're a criminal in LA, this is the best case scenario. Now we have protesters annoyed at Homeland Security for deportations, but even better, they're going after the FBI. You know, the guys who are super highly trained, whose job it is to put their life on the line to make sure a city like Los Angeles is protected and citizens don't get hurt.
So that is what we have to do to protect our community, is to be very closely connected. So, for example, on a community level, I know many of the organizations have a rapid response network. And frankly, that's how we found out about the raid, because community organizations reached out, contacted us, and told us that ICE was essentially chasing people through the parking lot at a Home Depot. Completely unacceptable.
So what's interesting about that clip, the mayor is admitting she has communications with these rapid assault groups, these groups who go out and protest, or these groups that let the local government know there's a deportation going on. I would not be surprised if Homeland Security catches wind of this communication, and we might see an investigation of what's going on with these groups and the mayor of LA.
I'm coming out of you motherfuckers. You're all fucking people. Piece of shit. Your mom should be really happy, huh? When you do for a fucking living. Take that piece of shit. Pinches vendidos.
I'm just gonna hit behind that mask and get tattooed up. Now they're all gonna know.
from?
See your tattoos!
Bitch,
because your tattoos up. You can't hide behind LA.
Now, as I'm making this video, we got another update. It looks like the FBI Deputy Director, Dan Bongino, is not happy, and they will be investigating what the heck happened with these protesters, as LA is calling it. Now, I also want to point out, the federal building that was literally sieged and surrounded and was being hit with hammers, spray painted, agents were being attacked, cars were being destroyed, the local police department never really showed up. They were just kind of on their own. Now, eventually, the federal agents had to leave the building and the protesters were waiting. I'm going to play this full clip in its raw form. It's rather chaotic, but it goes to show these protesters could care less who they were. They were going to assault those vehicles either way.
The rest of the ICE vehicles leaving. You see all the ICE vehicles pulling out. People are throwing rocks and bottles. Fucking idiot. People are throwing bottles, rocks and bottles at the ICE vehicles as they leave. It's the last one. People are throwing fireworks out here, guys.
Now, you're probably wondering, where the heck is the law enforcement? How are these protesters able to do all of this? Well, as far as that specific scenario, I don't know the full details where the police were, but we do have an indication, again, straight from Homeland Security. The violence against ICE must stop. LAPD has not responded. It was quite some time before LAPD showed up, and then we have this chaotic event as far as this riot control measure.
Temple and Alameda, but at least most of the people that were out here have already left. The group that is left is approximately, I'd say maybe 50 to 100 people at most here at the intersection of Temple and Alameda. The LAPD is trying to push them south on Temple and get them away from some of those federal buildings that have been at the center of the demonstrations this late afternoon and evening.
Now, to no one's surprise, I want to point out the governor of California is also blaming Donald Trump and his federal government for the chaos happening in Los Angeles.
Protests in LA turning violent when radical activists tried to free the illegals. Protesters were trying to block an ICE van carrying about 24 migrants, but the agents plowed through. Radicals swung and screamed and shoved federal officers. They had to throw flashbang grenades, but the protesters then threw eggs and other objects at the ICE vans. FBI agents were also on scene. But Newsom says it's Trump's fault. Continued chaotic federal sweeps across California to meet the arbitrary arrest quota are as reckless as they are cruel. Donald Trump's chaos is eroding trust.
Now, make sure you're subscribing to my channel because we are going to be following this very close. As far as the Trump administration wanting to hit their 4,000 to 3,000 deportations a day quota, the only way they're going to hit that number is if they can get into California. But the problem is, we are already seeing in LA and in San Diego and other parts of the state, opposition is very fierce with the government, local government, and the citizens.
Is a largely so-called minority-majority city. There are just as many people of color here as there are white people. And in fact, 10% of the population of Los Angeles County, come with me, which is one of the largest counties, the largest by population in the United States, is undocumented. There could be as many as 1 million undocumented people who live here in Los Angeles. And what you saw today, and what all of these people are protesting, is large-scale immigration enforcement raids. What you're looking at on the left-hand side of your screen is this protest from the sky. The helicopters are directly above me. You saw, I'm sorry for the noise, but you saw tactical officers on things like Bearcat vehicles, flashbang grenades on the city streets of Los Angeles, which largely felt like, as some people described in local media, that the military was on the streets of Los Angeles. Historically, the Los Angeles Police Department does not cooperate with immigration enforcement efforts. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department does not cooperate with immigration enforcement efforts. But when you have got ICE in Los Angeles showing up reportedly at Home Depot, where many undocumented people go to get work as day laborers, you know the National Day Laborer Organizing Network well, many of those people responded in the wake of the fires here.
Now, mathematically speaking, even MSNBC is saying there's about 1 million illegal immigrants in this area alone where the deportations happened. However, what we know about the Trump administration, I've been covering this for a very long time, when a mayor or area has a sense of pushback, deportations increase, so does the violence, and so do operations. Tom Homan has always said, and other officials who are in charge of these deportations, they have always said, if you don't get out of our way, we will just send more agents. And if there's an indicator that there's over 1 million illegal immigrants in this small area, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of these events.
Would you be down to talk about what you saw today?
Go back to the ocean! Chase! 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 Chase!
try to come through here.
Yep.
Okay, so that is the current update and situation as far as what's happening with these LA protests. I'm sure more and more updates will come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if more people get identified and arrested, maybe even local officials. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys for being here. God bless, and we'll see you all later.